Hi, everybody. Great to see everybody once again. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to tell you all about Dick Brooks today. Guy I got to know pretty well over the years. Brooksy, racing started for him at a young age. He lived down the street from a guy named Bud Matter. He drove the 99 Junior at the Speed Bowl, and Brooksy would go down the street. Bud would let him maybe buff out some battle scars off the car or sit in the seat. Soon after, his family moved behind the Speed Bowl in a house that he still lives in today. And he would sell illustrated speedway scenes for Shaney Lorenzen. By the 60s, he was building cars. He had these powder blue coupes, number 65, 651 or 65. Guys like Johnny Svanberg, Walt Dombrowski, and Hall of Famers Charlie Webster and Billy Harmon drove for him. He told me when I interviewed him for the documentary series, which I like to call the Godfather offer, he said in 1970 he had the two-car operation with Charlie and Billy driving for him. The guy from Islip Speedway came, cash in hand, offered him money for the whole operation, cars, trailer, the whole deal. And it basically said he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. And just like that, his car owning days were over. A couple days later, the Speed Bowl race director at the time was John Whitehouse. And he called Brooks. He said, hey, if you're not running, do you want to be part of my staff? And with that started his career as an official. The following year, 71, Whitehouse went to Thompson Speedway, and Brooksy went with him, which was the first of the still active streak of 55 straight years that he has been an official at Thompson Speedway in some capacity, including long times as flagman, chief steward, and race director. 1976, Bill Slater led the effort to bring the modifieds to New Smyrna's World Series during Speed Weeks, and he brought Brooksy there as his flagman, eventually becoming race director down there for that series. It was the start of a 30-year relationship he had with those events. In the late 70s, he was part of Dick Williams' Coastal Racing Association. See him flagging at Westboro, sometimes Waterford. Some of you may remember he actually cheated death at Westboro because the cars crashed right into the flag stand, and somehow he was able to get out of harm's way. In 1983, he went to Riverside Park and was the flagman there, eventually race director. Stayed there till the park closed in 99. He's actually in the Riverside Park Hall of Fame. Those are actually the first times when him and my Aunt Mary would take me to the races. And as I always tell people, they ask me how I got into the sport. Those Saturdays, me and my cousin Rich spending the day going on the rides at Riverside and then watching the races was just like the coolest days ever. In 85, Jerry Cook called Brooks. He asked him to be part of the crew for the NASCAR Modified Tour. He did that through 2023. Twice in the 80s, actually not twice, 89 and 98, Brooksy and his wife Mary were recognized by NASCAR Regional as team players and received the award in both those years. And Brooksy also was a member of the original team in the North-South Shootout that Charles Kepley created. And he was with that event for close to 20 years. It was a long career with almost all modified events. In some way, you could find Brooksy around those cars. Before I bring him up here, I just want to tell you a couple quick stories. He also was a successful businessman. His Connecticut auto radiator shop was right down the street, and he supported the racing with ads and programs, trade papers, even sponsored a couple modified races along the way. But the ads probably had the best slogan ever. Connecticut Auto Radiator, the best place in town to take a leak. I mean, it's tremendous, right? You can't beat that. In the late 90s, my cousin started racing, and those were great times. My whole family would go there to watch them, and it was rare that Brooksy or my aunt could come down there. When he started, Riverside was still open, but even after it closed, they were usually with the tour. But I remember this time in the pits. And at Waterford, you'd go up on the north pits, and you'd be in turn one. The cars are coming, And Richie's doing good. It's a heat race. He's on the outside, and I'm like trying to see what's going on here, right? He's wheeling it. And I keep like getting pushed. And I'm just about to turn and ask this dude to stop bothering me. It's Brooksy. And he's like, look at him go, look at him go. And I just remember my first time where he was not an official. He was a fan. He was a proud father. And it was another level of his passion for the sport. I'll always remember that day. And I also just want to say, my aunt and uncle exposed me to the sport as a kid. I think we all know. I thought this wasn't going to happen. I think we all know how important it is to be exposed to the sport when you're young. And I thank them for that. So because it's getting harder to talk, I'm just going to ask you to welcome Brooksy into the New England Auto Racers Hall of Fame.
Just before I get started here, though, I want to say something. S.J., with all his stories, forgot to tell you how many times I black flagged him. But we become good friends after, you know. I just wanted to mention that because I knew he forgot that. I don't think he forgot it, but anyway, I like to take a minute and thank all the new inductees for 2025. And I'd like to thank the Near Hall of Fame and their committee. It's been a big honor for them to bring me into this Hall of Fame, and I thank them. My race is long. My race is long, but with many, many hat changes. My race is long, but I loved every minute of it. I got to thank, like Johnny Whitehouse, when I left Waterford racing there, we went to Thompson, and that kind of started my career up there. I have a great pleasure with working with the Honig family for 55 years now, and the Hart family for many years of working down at New Smyrna, and the Carroll family I worked at Riverside Park for all them years. They were great people to work with. They were great, and I want to thank Ben Dodge, Dick Williams for all the times that I went and worked for them on all the other racetrack shows, and Darren Hatchett, I want to thank him for the North-South Shootout. I started that with him with Charles Kepley. And that, if you ever get a chance to go down there, that is a good racetrack, and it's really a good race. The North-South, the North race with the Southern cars. And Jerry Cook, I want to thank him for the Modified Tour and all the teams that I worked with the Modified Tour. They were just great. They were just like family, and at the end here, I'd like to thank my wife. She stuck with me all them years. My family, Richard and Diane, and my grandchildren for all the time I spent away. I want to thank them, and I want to thank. I got so many good friends that I made in this business. Every second Wednesday of the month, I get invited with, we go to lunch with Billy Harmon, and I got crazy remembering the names, but Bill Smith, Don, yeah, and Bob Gabarino. They're all real good friends, and we go there at the second Wednesday of every month, and we get together and tell all the old stories. So I didn't want to take up all your time, but I really appreciate you getting in this Hall of Fame, and I want to thank everybody that had part of it. Thank you.